Posting on your Google My Business profile. What is the who, what, where, when, why behind it? That's what we're going to talk about in today's episode. So when it comes to posting, like, you have to think of Google My Business as almost like a social profile. It kind of goes back to the days of Google+. But Google has decided that consistent posting is part of their algorithm. There are some opinions on the frequency of when and where you should post and what you should post. So Bright Logo, which is actually a tool we use to keep an eye on clients' rankings, citations in Google My Business, has a wonderful post guideline that they published in September of 2021 outlining profile posts, like what are they and how long they're active for, etc. It used to be that they used to expire when you posted anything, it would expire after 7 days. They did remove that. So that was changed in January of 2021. And now they just stay there. But it used to be originally they only would stay for 7 days. Ignoring all that, now when you post, they stay up there. One of the things that Google likes to see really is status updates of what's going on at your location, at that particular location. And when I say there's some controversy, what you're seeing here is actually a post that we've shared that we use on Facebook, and we've shared it to Google My Business. And a lot of people will say you're not supposed to do that. I've never found in my own data a negative impact on rankings by doing this. But I'm not the one, I don't have the thousands of, like, Bright Logo is huge. They have thousands and thousands of locations that they can pull anonymous data from on how it works. So what I would do is follow what they say, even though in my opinion there's a little bit more flexibility in what people will say and what they need to post. But for the most part, I would just follow what Bright Logo says. So we know what they are. They're just posts. When you show up, like if I do, actually let's do pie check a lot more. Here's the posts. So they're below the fold. They're not at the top of the fold. Your photos and everything are more important, but they are down here and it is part of their algorithm. So that's what they are. And you can use third-party tools. We use Social Pilot, but you could use any sort of third-party tool that does social media posting to post to Google My Business. Just make sure that they actually have the API activated. So again, they're now evergreen. I did see this. Oops. If no posts have been made in 6 months, they show a view previous updates on Google, and you can keep reading this. I'm going to put the link in the show notes of what that means. They do appear in the order that you publish them, similar to Instagram. So where do they appear? Like I said, they do appear at the bottom. They're not getting as the high click-through rate as they used to, but they do get a click-through rate. You know, it's kind of one of those things that you kind of need to do in the background. And it doesn't have as big of an impact it did when it first came out, but it's still important and it's still in the background. Google uses it as one of the ranking factors, so it's just kind of something you do. And then what can you post? So you can post anything that's happening in your location. If you have any sales, like it doesn't really work for a law firm, but if you have any offers or limited time sales, you can put that. You can do a what's new, and you can also do events. Like if you're having an open house or anything like that, you can post your event in there. And then what can you post? Also make sure that there's guidelines to look at most inappropriate content. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just can't be obscene, profane, violence, sexually explicit, etc., etc. And then how do you know if it's actually working? Well, if you go into Insights, and I'm just going to do the last month, you can see, so this is going to be for your overall profile, but a lot of it's going to actually be showing up in the branded, because it shows up on different elements of the website, and that Bright Local article talks about the discovery. So they'll show up in the discover feed of Google Maps. That's what they're talking about over here when you see discovery. And then if you're wanting to know which post is getting, like a particular post is getting more views than anything else, this one was just posted 3 hours ago, so there's not enough data. This post that we posted 3 days ago got 8 views and no clicks. So you can actually see, you know, the views and the clicks as we go through. Don't necessarily think a lot of effort needs to go into creating really high click-through rate Google My Business posts, because where they sit in the, you know, in the fold. Like I said, they sit way down here. They used to be way up here. They don't get the traffic they used to. So when people search for something and they say PieCheck Law Firm, they're gonna click website directions, save, all this. They're very rarely, they might just go down here, they might look at the reviews, but they're not gonna scroll all the way down to the bottom. It's just unfortunate. But you know, it helps, and it's part of optimizing your Google My Business profile, and it's just something you need to do. That's why we create the posts for the client and we schedule them out, and we do 3 posts a week, and it's enough to just kind of keep the platforms going, because it's not the focus of our comprehensive strategy with these clients. Our strategy with these clients are usually Google Ads and SEO, and then a converting website, because that brings them the best return on investment. And then the social media is kind of just something we add on top of it. So make sure that you go in there and you actually do the posts and get things scheduled out. Don't leave it to be completely empty. It's part of your SEO optimization plan and everything like that. But also don't feel pressured. If you only do 1 a week, then you only do 1 a week. Like, it is what it is. It's way more important to have, you know, reviews. And we'll talk about that in another video. It's getting reviews. Reviews is going to be way more important than posting regularly on Google My Business. So we'll talk about that another time. And the other thing to keep in mind with Google My Business is the whole point of Google My Business is, one, for people to find you, see their reviews, but also call you. So you can see here in 1 month, they got 229 visits to the website and 264 phone calls. That's what we're trying to focus on. So be careful about looking at like vanity metrics, is what we call it. Group posting is really, really important. But if you're limited time or limited funds, just keep it to the bare minimum.